Hey guys, welcome back. So today's viewer question is from Pantera P7B, and he was having an issue hooking up his LED light bar because his daytime running lamps were enabled on his 2011 Crown Victoria Police Interceptor. So I thought I would take this opportunity to discuss daytime running lamps. What are they, how they work, and why they exist. I also thought this would be a good opportunity to turn this into a video collaboration to get a couple of different points of views. So I reached out to a few channels I'm a big fan of, and I asked them to participate. And I also sent an email to WJ Handydad. So before we get started, I want to give you the results of this poll that I put out. And I really appreciate you guys participating in this because it really helps me make these videos. So the question of this poll is DRLs, daytime running lights, on my Panther car. And in 2 days we had 91 votes. And 60% of you guys said you love them. And 40% said you guys said you hate them. And I got a lot of good comments and feedback on this question. So before we get started, I want to give you a brief description of how they work. So I'd like to read you a passage from our hymnal on page 48, and this is the King James 2011 version. So down here it says, daytime running lamps, if equipped. Turns on the headlamps with a reduced output to activate. And there's 3 criteria that must be met. The key must be in the on position, the headlamp switch must be in the off position, and the vehicle is not in park. So what that means is the engine has got to be running, the headlamp switch has to be turned off, and you got to have the transmission in any gear except park. And how they work is they work on the high beam circuit at a reduced 50% current. So you don't get the full power of the high beam, you get 50% of the high beam. So that's how they work. Now, I found a description on the Wikipedia page I'd like to read that describes why we have them. And the sentence in here that I like, it says, their intended use is not to help drivers see the road, but to help other motorists and pedestrians identify an active vehicle. So they're not necessarily to help the driver see, they're to help other people notice the driver when the vehicle is being driven. So I did some research and I found this, they did a study on the effectiveness of DRLs. And this study was put together by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration Department of Transportation. And they put this study together in 2008. And DRLs have been around since 1990, so they conducted this study when the DRLs have been implemented for about 18 years. And I opened up this report, and it was 110 pages. And I'd like to apologize to the author of the report because I'm going to reduce it to one sentence. And the one sentence on the front page of this report, or actually it was on page 3, it says, the analysis found that DRLs have no statistically significant overall effects. So basically what they're saying is they looked at crash data and evaluated it, and they found that they did not increase road safety significantly, or no statistically significant effect over road safety. And I also did find another article, a magazine article, And this was written in 2017, so 9 years after the DOT study. And there's two sentences in this magazine article that I like. And it says, this problem is even worse in cars that light up their instrument clusters anytime the ignition is on, which is more and more cars are doing these days. And so what he means is these newer cars, as soon as you turn on the engine and the engine is running, the instrument panel or the instrument cluster will light up. And so if you're not paying attention, most people think their headlights and their taillights are on. And I'm sure we've all been driving on the road and we've seen someone driving around with no headlights and no taillights, and we're just completely mystified how that can be. And that's because the driver is not exactly paying attention and they forgot to turn on their headlamps. And the second sentence is, well, I kind of just said that, but it says, the problem with daytime running lights is they lull the driver into a false sense of security. So again, if they know they have daytime running lights, they may think that, you know, those are automatic and the car knows what it's doing and I'll just leave it to the car, instead of taking specific action yourself to make sure your headlights and your taillights are on. And I also did find there's two complaints from the proponents or from the opponents of the DRLs, and they say they increase bulb wear and increase fuel consumption because of the electrical load on the alternator, and of course that puts a load on the engine, so that's going to increase fuel consumption. Okay, so by now you probably want to know how to disable these things or how to enable these things if you like them. So to my knowledge, there's two ways to do that. The first option is to go to your local Ford dealer, and they've got to plug in their IDS manufacturer scan tool, and they've got to enable it through the PCM. And the problem with that is they're going to charge you. And back in 2018, when I got my Grand Marquis, that's just what I did. And I had to pay 1/2 hour of labor. And I bribed the service writers with pizza, so I was able to get a good deal and bring that down to an acceptable charge. Now, if you don't want to pay the dealer and have the dealer do it, you can do it yourself. And I didn't know this at the time. And that is, you can do it with a 4-scan device. And if you don't know what a 4-scan device is, it's basically an OBD2 scan tool that's manufacturer specific. And right now these are going for $18.97. But there's a catch. In order to be able to use this device, you have to have a Windows-based laptop, and I don't have one of those, so that's why I'm not showing you how to do this, because I don't have one. But hopefully the other guys in the collaboration, they do have one, and they'll be able to walk you through it step by step. So, so that's pretty much it, and I guess I'll close it up with Pantera's P7B issue. So because the daytime running lamps were enabled on his 2011 Crown Vic Police Interceptor, the way he was wiring his LED light bar is he did not want to have an auxiliary switch excuse me, that he had to activate to turn on the light bar. What he wanted to do is he wanted to wire it to the factory high beam circuit, so that when he wants to flash to pass, all he has to do is reach to the factory turn signal stock, and that'll get the high beams to come on. So in order to do that, you have to tap into the high beam circuit of one of the headlamp bulbs, and you use that wire to trigger the relay to turn on the LED light bar. So because the daytime running lamps were enabled, as soon as he turned on the engine and put it in gear, That, of course, turned on the daytime running lamps, and that, of course, triggered the light bar. So his light bar was coming on all the time with the DRLs, and that's probably not a good idea. He only wants the light bar to come on independently of all other lights. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.